The generalized hyperbolic stretch tool in PixInsight, Serial, what have you, is an amazingly powerful tool. It's so powerful that people like Adam Block and all the big dogs tried to make videos to show us how to do it. They were so long and got so technical that I really just gave up and never used the tool. Recently, I've seen other people using the tool in various ways, and quite honestly, it's all I'm going to use now. I'm going to stretch 4 different kind of images here in the next 10 minutes, maybe do a little bit more stuff, and just show you how easy this thing is. Less is more. Trust me, we do things easy here. I'm Chad. This is the Easy Astro Images channel, and we are going to play with some photons today. So if you like videos like this and want to support us on the channel, please like and subscribe to the channel. And you can also join and become a channel member to help support what we are doing here on the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, truly and thankfully. So let's get right into PixInsight right now and not waste any time. So I've went through and done all of the basic stuff on all of these images right here, and they are ready to stretch. So let's just go ahead and start with the very first one here. What do we got? We got Thor's helmet. I mean, an amazing picture. Now, this was taken when I was not such a good astrophotographer. It was taken, I think, with a 183 camera and the current RC6 that I'm using. So you can see that it could definitely use a lot more integration time and all that beautiful kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is we are going to open up the GHS stretch tool. And the first thing we're going to do, click on the real-time preview. We're going to uncheck the box here, and we're going to check it again to make sure that we are all linked up. Now, the very first thing that I want you to do is to go down here and switch this to linear mode, and then just click on your zoom button here a couple times. Make sure that you got all of these boxes checked up here. So you got your grid line, and you also got your linear or your log view. This is something that a lot of people used to get hung up on. Your very first thing in GHS, we need to get rid of this dead space. So click right there, click send to BP, go down here, click the square button, and that is it. So now we are going to reset, and now we are back in the generalized hyperbolic stretch mode. We've got our graph and everything else. We can zoom in even more, and for this particular stretch, since there is stuff in the background, what I want to do is I want to go just to the left of the histogram peak right there. We are going to send that to BP, and then all we are going to do is mess with 2 sliders down here. We are going to stretch it by just using the stretch factor. If you don't like the way this looks and annoys you, you can come up here and unclick and zoom all the way out. And let's just go ahead and start stretching this. And don't worry about anything right now. Just stretch the image. In fact, this is all you really would have to ever do inside of GHS. But, you know, a lot of people like to do different finite things. So what I would do is just go ahead and get a good stretch going on like that right there. Click apply, reset. Let's go back to linear, zoom in, and you're going to not see it because it's going to be all the way over here. And what we want to do is we want to zoom all the way out. Let's find our actual point where everything comes in again. And let's get rid of all of the extra black space that we created again this time. In log view, it's going to be kind of smashed up right here. So what you might want to do is click back into a histogram plot, and we can do the same thing all over again like we did before. Click right here, send to BP, and it's going to immediately darken our background, and we are going to apply that. We are going to reset the tool, and there we go. Everything is beautiful again. It's going to reset into GHS. Click the button up here again. And now let's say that we want to start stretching this part. You can click right there, send that to BP, and you can immediately just start stretching that data out a little bit. Okay. Now, if you start to blow out your cores right here, see how things are getting really bright right here? You do have a local intensity slider, but this local intensity slider is very, very heavy-handed. So you might have to type this stuff in. It's kind of up to you. But once you're happy with your image, go ahead and click reset and you are good. If you want to give this thing one big stretch one last time, again, since there's a little bit of extra background faded stuff here, we can go behind the histogram, send to BP, and just gently pull up on that. And that again is going to lighten our background. It's going to kind of stretch all that other stuff, and we can send that to the BP, reset the tool, click on this button right here to go back into linear mode. We can zoom in a little bit and see if we can find our plot and see if we can get an easy place to go ahead and try to find and close off that background a little bit more, which looks like we could maybe go to like right there, switch to linear mode, send to BP, and apply, and then it immediately is just going to take that edge off of our background. Last thing you want to do while you're in here is use their actual color mode. So in mode here, you're going to go to saturation, and all you're going to do is just pull up on the color very gently, because it is a very heavy-handed. As you can see, you can get out of control really quick. Don't worry about what those graphs look like. Look at your image, and whatever looks good to you, that's what you're going to do. And you can go ahead and save that out. And now you're stretched. You're ready to go. You can throw your noise exterminator on here now. You can do a little bit of color enhancement, whatever you want to do. That's it. Thor's helmet is done. What's next on the agenda? We've got M82. So this is what we've been dealing with recently. So let's go to M82. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to reset the tool, link the histogram, start the real-time preview, and we are going to switch to linear mode. So where is our histogram at? So let's go ahead and zoom in. There it is, all the way up there. Look at all of this dead space. So we're in linear mode. We're going to click right there, send to BP, and we are going to hit that, reset, go back into generalized hyperbolic stretch mode. And now we're going to have to go over a little bit. We can switch back to log mode, zoom in a little bit, and everything in this image is kind of like right there in the middle. There's no background nebulosity. So we're going to select the middle. We're going to send that to BP, and we'll zoom back out because I know everybody likes to watch the graphs. You know, we were always concerned about making this log graph and everything just look perfectly simple, but just watch your image and just stretch your image and be happy with what's going on there. Some of these you might need to do in a couple steps. I am not going to lie, and we will demonstrate that when we get into Orion. So you can, in this example, we could go ahead and say, okay, we're good with that right there. Now we want to work on this stuff right here. So we can send that to BP. So we can send that to SP, and then we can start pulling up, and you can see it's stretching that brighter stuff and not really affecting our background a whole lot. So I don't really like the way that looks. It looks like my background is a little bit nuked. So I want to bring out some of that background stuff. So we're going to click right there, send to SP, and we are going to just pull up on everything again a little bit, and we are going to drop our local intensity just so we're not blowing things out completely, and we'll accept that, reset the stretch. We can turn off the log mode. We can see if we zoom in, you know, how far away our stuff is from the edge. Doesn't look too bad. But, you know, while we're here, we might as well go ahead and fix it. So let's just click like right there and send that to SP, hit the square, and that just darkened our background a little bit. Reset the tool. Don't forget to do your saturation while you're in here. Switch to saturation, and let's just pull up on the saturation a little bit and watch our colors and stars come to life. Go ahead and apply it. Close it. Close it. There's two images done. What's next? Ah, the Pleiades. This is a fun one. This really is amazing to watch it pop to life. So we're going to open up GHS. We're going to reset the tool. Go ahead and click on our real-time preview. We're going to need to zoom in on this one because you can see we have got a ton of dead space going on here. So we might have to do this twice. So let's go to linear mode, and let's just bring this up to right here. Send to BP, hit the square, and go ahead and reset everything. Now we can see our data is all the way over here. Now, if we want to go ahead and zoom in and try to get this data as far to the left as we want to at the beginning here, we can. So we can just keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And we will click there one more time, send to SP, and then go ahead and accept that. Now, let's go to reset the tool. Let's zoom in, go back to log mode, and there is a ton of background nebulosity in this image. So we're going to go right there to the left, send to SP. We'll zoom out so everybody can see the log view again, and we are just going to start to stretch this image. Now, your real-time preview will fall behind a little bit, and this image was shot probably with a, M45, probably could have shot at different exposures for the stars so things didn't get blown out and blend them together. So I'm going to do a really heavy stretch on this because there is just so much stuff going on, just to show you that you can pretty much do this in a couple steps. So we will accept that. We'll go ahead and just click on linear here. And now you can see we've got a ton of background space here. Send this to SP, hit the button, and reset the tool. And now we just darkened our background and we didn't get rid of any of our nebulosity. So that baby is done. We're going to go to saturation, and we are going to give this thing just a little bit of a saturation boost. Again, it's very good saturation, but it's very heavy-handed, so definitely be careful. You can pull back on the local intensity, and that will kind of work on it a little bit as well. But, just use the one. Keep it simple, easy, just like I said. Get rid of that, close it, stretch. That's done. Again, we could process all 4 of these images from here on out in like 15 minutes and be done. Last one, Orion. Every time I've tried to stretch this using different tools and everything, I end up blowing out the core. I should have shot it in different exposure lengths and everything else, but I didn't know how to do all that stuff back then, and maybe you don't either. Let's go back into GHS, open it up, reset the tool, turn on the real-time preview, and let's make sure that we are in linear mode, and let's turn off the log here, and let's go ahead and scroll in here to Orion and click about right there, send that to BP, hit the button, and we're done. Reset it. We are in the GHS mode right now. We can turn the log view mode back on if you want to. Scroll in on this a little bit. 250 might be a little bit too strong for you, but it doesn't look too bad. You can keep going if you want to. Again, there's a ton of background nebulosity in this one, so you might even want to go further to the left with your SP, or your symmetry point, as they like to call it. We can zoom back out. And now what we can do is go down here and we can start to stretch this. And I did find that Orion actually is one of these images that you probably want to do in an iterative process. So we're going to stretch a little bit, and then we are going to drop down this local intensity. No matter what we're going to do, we're going to lose the core on this one. That's just how it is. So we'll accept that, reset. We're already creating a lot of black space down here, so we're going to have to come back in and get rid of that for sure. So let's go ahead and scroll in on our mouse wheel, click right here, send to SP, and let's stretch the image a little bit more. All right, that's looking good. We'll go ahead and save that one. Let's click right here, go to linear mode, and we're at the edge already zoomed in. We got lucky. So let's darken our background again. Boom, done. So we just reset everything as close to the histogram as we can. We can try to do it again if you want to really get it dark. Send to SP, click it, accept it, done. All right, now let's go ahead and focus on some of this outside stuff. So it's right there. Line's already there for you. Send to SP, stretch, looking good. Back down on the local intensity again. Again, you might have to actually touch these on your keyboard so that way it doesn't get super crazy, but it's up to you, however you want to do it. Now, I really need to pull out all this background stuff, so enough playing around. So we're going to go all the way down to here. We're going to send to SP, and then we are going to start pulling on this image, and we're just going to like let it rip. So I'm tired of messing around and trying to do all this fancy stuff. We can recover as much of that data as we can down the road using different tools, but let's just freaking get this stretch over with. Look at all that stuff come to life. I'm probably not going to press it any further because I didn't put enough integration time on it to earn it. There we go. And we have a little bit of clipping going on right there in this image that I just did, but you could be as careful as you want to. We're making videos here. We're not making science projects. So again, add a little bit of saturation to it. There we go. We'll accept that. And just to show you follow through what you can do with one of your images. So we're going to run a little bit of noise exterminator on this. We'll open up the curves transformation. We will do a real-time preview. We will just barely bring down the green to reveal some of that extra brownish type of stuff. Accept that. We're going to do my 3-point curve technique, which is going to be right here, right near the middle, and then up here in the highlights. And then we are going to pull down on the highlights to kind of bring down some of that stuff that we washed out in the middle. Be careful that you don't pull down too far and take away all the detail. So we'll just kind of take the edge off of that a little bit, and we'll just take the edge off the background a little bit. Feel free to mask all this stuff. Everything would just go so much better. Good there. Good there. Blur exterminator. Very, very little star sharpening on this. Let's go to a 0.2. Sharpen non-stellar, 0.7, and drag and drop. And now, if you want to zoom in and see what's going on, we can go back and forth and back and forth. Let's enable 24-bit preview so that way you can see it a little bit better. This is our sharpened blur exterminator, and that is our blurry. So there you go. I just showed you how to stretch 4 images with GHS in like 10 minutes. Do you think you should be using GHS now? I think so. I'm going to be using it way more. It is very, very helpful when you are trying to stack multi-exposures, or if you only shot 1 exposure and you want to stretch 2 or 3 times and then image blend those together. We'll have videos coming up on that soon. Appreciate each and every one of you. Peace.